We're starting on this side. I have n is less than 5. What do I need to do for this problem? Find 5. It's true, yes. What do I do at the 5? A circle. Good, an open circle. And then what? I wanted a different color. Good, yeah, facing to the left, right? Good. And when do you use an open circle versus a closed circle? Right, if you're forgetting those things, write it down. Don't forget. Number 2, what do I do? I gotta write the inequality. So how do I start? Hmm? Good. Yeah, start with your variable. Find the number where the circle's at. The circle will tell you whether to do less than or greater than, or less than or equal to, greater than or equal to. And right, as long as you write the variable first, the inequality goes in the same direction as the line, right? What about numbers 3 and 4? What am I trying to do? Because, yeah, I got to solve it first. I'm going to write it down over here so I have a little bit of room. What do I need to do to solve this? How do I get the x by itself? Good. Add 2, right? Because that cancels those out. I've got x by itself. Do I have to flip my sign? No. Exactly. I just added, right? And then what's 15 plus 2? Thank you. Good. Okay. So in numbers 1 and 2, these are worth 2 points each. What I'm looking for is that you did the right circle at the right place and you drew the arrow in the right direction. Here, same thing. You picked the right number, you picked the right inequality. But down here, these are worth 4 points because I'm making sure you know how to solve. I'm making sure you wrote the inequality correctly, and I need you to graph it as well. So how do I graph this? What do? X is greater than 17. How do I graph it? Good. Open circle at 17. Left or right? Good. Okay. 4 points. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, what about number 4? I gotta solve again, but how do I solve this? I divide. Why do I divide? Looks like a minus. Why don't I do add 12 to both sides? Yeah, negative 12 is multiplying v. So the opposite of multiplying is dividing. So now I've got my v. There's v all by itself. And 72 divided by negative 12, what's that? Negative 6. What do I do with my inequality? Yeah, I gotta flip it around because we divided by a negative number. If you divide or multiply by a negative, we need to flip the inequality. Right? It goes from greater than to less than. And, right, that's 2 of the 4 points. How do I get my other 2 points? Yeah, I got to graph it. How do I graph this? Close circle at negative 6 and then left or right? Good. Okay. Excellent. All right. Then numbers 5 and 6. So these ones, 3 and 4, were just one step. There was just one thing you had to do. But in 5 and 6, it's 2-step inequalities. There's 2 steps. So I have 9k minus 10 is less than 17. What am I going to do to get the k by itself? Think about what are the 2 operations that I have over here with the k? Good, there's multiplication and there's subtraction. Yeah, so our first step needs to be adding 10 to both sides. And so we have 9k is less than 27. Very good. And then we divide by 9. Do I have to flip the inequality this time? You do? No. So k is less than 3. There you go. These ones are just 1 point. Okay, here I've got -4 plus r over 3 less than or equal to 6, -6. What do I do first? Good. I have to, wait, say that again? Yeah, sort of. This one's kind of funny because I'm like adding a negative number. So if I wanted to undo it, I'd have to subtract the negative number, but really that's just adding, right? To get rid of -4, I just add 4 to both sides. Okay, my 4's cancel. I've got r divided by 3 is less than or equal to -6 plus 4. And now what? Multiply by 3. 3's cancel out. I've got r by itself. Do I have to flip the inequality this time? It's a negative answer and exactly, yeah. So I multiplied by a +3. That's what you got to look at. Even though this was a negative number, even though my answer was a negative number, I didn't multiply by a negative number. So my inequality stays the same. There's my answer, D. Okay? All right. Now we've got our linear equality. What do I do for this? Yeah, I gotta graph it. How do I start graphing? Good, start with the y-intercept. You should write these steps down. Okay, so my y-intercept in this case is 1. So I start at 1. And then what do I do? Good, use your slope. Right, slope is rise over run. So since it's a negative slope, I go down 3, always to the right 2. Down 3 over 2. Down 3 over 2. There's my 2 points. Now what? Yeah. Ask yourself, dashed or solid line? Can you guys stop coloring on my calculators? What are you doing, Connor? Writing a love note to the next person who sits there? Find all sorts of funny things in those calculators. Things that I don't want to say out loud. So dashed line, what kind of inequalities? Dash, dotted, same difference. What kind of inequalities do I use? What types of inequalities do I use for dashed? Less than or greater than. Solid line has the equal to, because it has a little line. Okay? So for this one, am I doing dashed or solid? Dashed. Dashed line. Okay, is that it? Am I done? No, we got a shade. Shade above or below. So above is going to be greater than or equal to. Below is less than or equal to. So it's greater than, so I got to shade above. Okay, and this feels kind of silly to say this out loud, but I'm going to say it anyway, just in case anybody's getting confused about which is above and which is below, because sometimes it's kind of weird. Think about it as like a roller coaster. The above part is where the like car would go, right? So up here is above. You know what I mean? I don't know, that's just what I'm picturing in my head. No, you don't get it, Anthony? You don't know what above and below means? Like imagine if this track was a roller coaster, where would you draw the car? You wouldn't draw it down here. It's not like going under.
Oh my God,
Or a train. Think about a train instead. Trains don't go upside down. But roller coasters do. True. Okay. Look at the back. Ah! We're going to do it together anyway. Okay, get 2 colored pencils. Because now we're doing a system of inequalities. So we need 2 different colors. We're doing the same exact steps. But we got to do it twice on one graph. So what's my first step? I'm going to make this one. What color should I use? I'm going to make purple. What should be my other color? Red. Okay, it doesn't take that long. For my purple line, what's my y-intercept? For the purple one. Where do you see a -2? Anthony, you're just being difficult. My y-intercept is at 1 for the purple. So I go start at 1. And then what do I look at? The slope is 2. What does that mean, like, for rise over run? Very good. Up 2 over 1. Up 2 over 1. Okay, I got my 2 points. Now I can draw my line, but am I going to use a solid line or a dotted line? Solid. And it's greater than, so what does that mean? Shade above. Am I done? No, I have a second one to do, don't I? Okay, I've got that one done. How about the red line? What's my y-intercept? -2. And what's my slope? 1 over 2. What does that mean for rise over run? Up 1 over 2. Up 1 over 2. Dashed or solid line? Good, dashed line. And do I shade above or do I shade below? Huh? What's the inequality? Greater than, shade above. That's good. So for these kind of problems, you're going to have 1 to do on your test. And it's worth 8 points. 8. Let me tell you why. I grade to make sure you got the right y-intercept, that you got the right slope, that you chose the right line, and that you shaded the right area for both inequalities, right? So y-intercept, slope, line, shaded. So 4 points for each one. That's 8 points total. Let's do another one together. Let's do number 9. What colors should I use? Purple?
Green.
And green. Like Barney. So my purple line, what is my y-intercept? 2, good. Start at 2. What's my slope? There's no number there. What do I do? It's 1, so that's 1 over 1, right? Up 1, over 1. Up 1, over 1. Dotted line, solid line. Solid. Shade above or shade below? Above. Okay. Ooh, what about this green line? That one looks weird. What is the y-intercept of the green line? 3. What's the slope? Good. Do you see any x in that? No, there's 0x, right? So that's a 0 slope. What kind of lines have 0 slope? Horizontal. Good. So I start at 3, and then I draw dotted line or solid line? Dotted. Dotted horizontal line. And do I shade above or shade below? Above. Okay. You will have an equation or an inequality that looks like this. That's a horizontal line. Don't forget that. Okay? And you can use this paper on your test. So make sure you hold on to it. Right? So what we're going to do now is I'm going to hand out a quiz. This is like a retake quiz. Similar to what you did last week. Okay. You can use this paper on it, but you do need to put dividers up, please.